This is our news, the weekend edition. And on the broadcast tonight, government eyeing an increase in duty on the importation of foreign goods. Ahead tonight, details from the Prime Minister. Just days before the reopening of commercial activity, the Consultant Physician Staff Association expressing concerns. And the head of the Anglican Church says it's do or die time as he chastises Bahamians who fail to follow COVID-19 safety protocols.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Nolt, and thanks so much for joining us. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis telling reporters that government hopes to increase duty and even ban foreign goods once local production is able to meet the demand. He made the comments while touring BAIC on Friday.
Most importantly, once we increase our production line, one of the things we'd like to do, not like to do, but we will do, is increase duty on importation of international or foreign goods. And if we don't increase the duty, some of them, once we can meet the demand, you ban them.
Dr. Minnis says the reason for the ban and increased rates on those foreign goods is to protect Bahamian products. He says more research is also needed to improve the quality of Bahamian-produced goods.
We just need to move more in research in terms of preservation. The pears are what I'd be very concerned about, because as you know, all pears basically ripe about the same time. And if we can do research, be it at UB or some other institutions, so we can delay the ripening or increase the preservation, I think that's a great market.
The Consultant Physician Staff Association is expressing concern over the reopening of several businesses on Monday. Restaurants, retailers, and several other businesses will reopen their doors after being shut for about a month as the country experienced a resurgence in cases. CPSA President Dr. Sabrika Pinder-Butler says she's concerned that many still aren't taking the virus seriously and won't follow the necessary precautions.
We're concerned because unfortunately, we've been noticing that a lot of persons within the country are not adhering to the protocols as they should, wearing their masks, washing their hands, making sure that if they have come in contact with someone or if they are even COVID positive, that they stay at home and they don't move about. Yes, we appreciate that a lot of people will not have symptoms. You may not feel anything, but certainly if you're positive or you've been around someone, please let's be responsible and let's do the right thing to try to save our other brothers and sisters from becoming exposed to COVID-19.
Earlier this week, the CPSA president expressed concern over the lack of space within public health care facilities to deal with the rise in cases. And with over 2,000 confirmed cases nationwide, Dr. Pinder-Butler says she hopes business owners send a strong message to their patrons come Monday.
So we have concerns. We want to make sure that certain measures are in place. Businesses that are opening, that they send a strong message to all of us, consumers alike, that there will be a zero tolerance if persons aren't wearing masks and shouldn't be allowed in. Making sure that we have adequate spacing between customers and those types of things to continue to try to preserve life as much as we can in this country.
Meantime, Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, warning countries such as the Bahamas that have seen a recent spike in cases to make decisions for the benefit of their population.
2 weeks ago, the Bahamas observed a 60% increase compared to the previous week, while St. Martin, Trinidad and Tobago, and the U.S. Virgin Islands all reported a 25% jump. This is not just driven by tourism, but also by citizens who are returning home after the lockdown. We know that countries that depend on tourism cannot remain closed indefinitely. But as they reopen, they must use all the resources available to reduce risk for their population.
Etienne said she is concerned because even with the deaths in the region doubling in the past 6 weeks and the number of cases standing at over 12 million, countries are still choosing to relax measures.
Over that same period, the very opposite has happened. Countries have gradually relaxed restrictions, resumed commerce, and some are gearing up to head back to school. In far too many places, there seems to be a real disconnect between the policies that are being implemented and what the epidemiological curves tell us. This is not a good sign.
It wasn't all bad news regarding the Bahamas. Etienne congratulated health officials on their contact tracing initiatives.
The Bahamas, for example, despite having to deal with more cases now, are working to stop the chain of transmission by using contact tracing to track all new cases and limit the spread of the virus. Argentina, Guatemala, and Suriname were also able to keep transmission low early on. This bought them the necessary time to prepare the systems for this moment, and they've built the necessary capacity to identify cases and trace people who may have been exposed.
A local religious leader says with so many cases of the coronavirus in the country, it is do or die time for Bahamians. Anglican Bishop Leish Boyd encouraged Bahamians to follow health protocols, as he said it's more important now than ever. Jillian Gray has that.
With coronavirus numbers continuing to climb, Anglican Bishop Leish Boyd said Bahamians must learn to live safely and responsibly with the virus, as it will be with us for a long time. When it comes to adhering to protocols, he warned it's do or die.
Practice the protocols or face destruction. In fact, we are where we are now because some protocols were relaxed when they should not have been, and because many of us have not been observing the protocols at all. If we are going to live and not die, then it will take all of us.
Bishop Boyd described the coronavirus pandemic as a trying time for many, adding that during this time, people should seek to uplift each other and share more positive messages rather than doom and gloom. Recognizing that many people's pockets have been affected by the pandemic, Boyd said he knows many are facing a mental strain.
The curfews, the lockdowns, the disruption to our regular routine, and the financial impact all have increased our stress levels. Some of us are ready to crumble. To you, I say, hold on. How you feel is normal for human beings in trying times. So there's nothing wrong with you.
Boyd said people who are struggling should depend on God, talk to a friend, call a pastor, or one of the help hotlines for assistance. As he emphasized the need for safety protocols like wearing a mask, social distancing, and washing your hands, Bishop Boyd said people should pay attention to their health as well. He suggested eating more whole plant-based foods, exercising, and trying to boost your immune system. Boyd said diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes are too prevalent in the country.
Even more deadly than that is obesity, which throws the body's whole system off track. It is estimated that 45 to 50% of our people are overweight to some degree. And too many of our young people are overweight. As we seek to deal with COVID now and in the long term, these are the issues which must be considered and addressed by all of us in our own lives and in our families.
Bishop Boyd also encouraged Bahamians to pray for the country's leaders, frontline workers, and those who are COVID positive. For our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
A suspect is in custody tonight in connection with the discovery of an illegal drug field in Abaco. Members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force discovered the marijuana field while conducting patrols. Police also assisting in the effort, subsequently arresting a resident of Crossing Rock, South Abaco. More than 70 marijuana plants were confiscated, along with 4 illegal firearms from the property. Well, we will take our first break here, but still ahead tonight, the Christian Council president fills us in on how the church has been forced to cut back due to COVID. That story and more coming up.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
Next tonight, the church has not been immune to the challenging times caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. That according to Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernanda, who said the pandemic has caused the church to cut back on some of its usual activities.
We have institutions, we have homes for those that are at risk, those who are challenged, those who are abused. Churches provide those homes for those persons. When people who make up the church is not the building, don't have it, we can't provide it. And so although sometimes we beat up on the church, we can only provide what is given to us and what is provided through the entity called the church. These are challenging times, and so we've cut back on a lot of things that we usually do, and it's being felt.
Local pastor Christopher Roberts said churches didn't just suffer financially, but socially as well.
The church survived on, for the most part, the tithes and free will offering of its members. And so if the members are not working, if there's not an income for members, then there's no income for the church. And so certainly, for the most part, almost every church took a hit in terms of its finances. The church also suffered because you have members who would have died, members who would have been hospitalized, and ordinarily the church would rally around the family. And so you have that area of suffering that would have occurred.
When our news, the weekend edition, comes back from the break, the singing bishop has a message about following safety protocols. Plus, we'll tell you about a party series intended to assist in the fight against hunger. So stay tuned.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
Welcome back to our news, the weekend edition. With the country heading into a phased reopening next week, singing bishop Lawrence Rolls says the only thing that will get the Bahamas through the second wave is residents following the COVID-19 safety protocols.
Get us through this coronavirus. Other countries, you put on your mask, you sanitize your hands, just like how people could crowd up to Super Value and City Market. The same protocol you could carry out.
Roll insisted it's important that Bahamians do all they can to help ensure the second phased reopening of the country is successful, as the livelihoods of many Bahamians, including his own, are depending on it.
I as a pastor, and my account's empty. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I checked for the last 6 weeks on my little bank account, and all the boy bringing back is the receipt. $20 holding the bank book open. How I gonna make it like that? I as a pastor and I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. Because guess what? The people around me are suffering. This is the inner city.
Roll added that he continues to pray for the country's leaders, who he says are in positions of power during one of the most difficult times in the country's history. He says he will continue to pray that they make the right decisions.
Now, the coronavirus comes with panicking, and he brings in debt. But what do the leader do? What would God do? God still leads the people into green pastures. We ain't going back in bondage. I don't want to go back. Some things I can't say on the media. I don't want to go back in bondage in Cat Island where I got to feed $2 a day, $3 a day. I don't want to go back there. A real leader leads the people into green pastures. That's what God would do. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the coronavirus, the shadows of death, the coronavirus, but God leads you into green pasture.
Up next, we'll tell you about the purpose behind a party being hosted on Zoom. So stay with us.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bite. Bite. You give up it.
That's 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
It's a party with a cause. The Fight Against Hunger Zoom Party series is aimed at raising funds for those hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Partners Dwayne Davis Jr. and Todd Isaacs Jr. said they've both been trying to help people in their communities since the pandemic hit and figured they'd make more of an impact by partnering for the party series.
A lot of people have been without jobs since March, and right now is many ways that we want to help, and this is one of the things that we felt could go the furthest way, because we raise the money and then every single dollar that we raise, we would go to purchasing food vouchers, and we set up a location, post it on all our social medias, and that's where people come and collect.
The goal is to raise enough funds to give hundreds of families in need food vouchers. The pair is also accepting donations of food, water, and masks. The first in the series of parties begins Saturday at 9 p.m. To log in to the virtual party, persons can click the link on their Fight Against Hunger Bahamas Facebook page and make a donation and then enter.
With the whole COVID pandemic right now, a lot of people have been, the whole focus is on not being sick, not getting sick, the physical aspect of it, but we really haven't taken into the mental aspect of it. This hopefully could give some people a few hours to, just have fun. Not able to go out, but could have fun in the comfort of your house.
And that's going to do it for us on a Saturday night. I'm Andrew Knowles. For all of us here at R News, thanks so much for watching. Let's remember to be safe and look out for each other. Have a great evening.